Favoritism.
Ladies first.
No, it's good luck, good looks.
Age before beauty?
No.
Okay. Well, in a moment, Brian here will offer his insights about Kris from his very unique perspective as her husband. I have the privilege, of course, of speaking about Kris from the perspective as her friend. I met Kris several years ago when she joined the chapter in 1996. I had already been a member for several years and kind of tended to hang around with the older group of Jaycees. So to me, my first impression, Kris was really just a young whippersnapper who didn't know much about the chapter at all. But very quickly, I recall learning that my impressions of Kris were her drive to do everything that she took on the best that she could, her ability to really remain calm in almost any situation, and her magnificent and seemingly never-ending tan, of which I'm eternally jealous. I had an opportunity to get to know Kris far better while serving as her Community Development Vice President during the 2002 Board of Directors. We were an all-woman VP show that year, faced some really interesting challenges. But through it all, Kris was at the head of the table, really urging us to do what was right, versus necessarily what might be easy. The easy part was truly following the leader that Kris was. Over the years, I have worked side by side with Kris on many projects. Santa Claus parades with Bonnie Bluebells, Special Olympics dance nights, creating the coveted Rosebud Award, the 75th anniversary video, challenging.
Is that coming, by the way?
It's done.
Still waiting for my CD.
We'll get that out too. Being overserved at state conventions, where we solved the world's problems and encouraged our good friend Melissa Marshall to become Melissa Greco. One of the best Jaycees events. Being Kris's friends during senior PGA meant stealing an hour in a golf cart to do some cruise and crab gossip sessions, or the occasional delivery of what we termed special water, which was really Bacardi Raz. So, finally, on a personal note, Kris has shared many of my joys and sorrows. She is a wonderful humorist, a wise sounding board, and a trusted confidant. I am proud to name Kris as a life friend, and I am very honored to be part of this process to induct her as a life member.
No bias here.
She made me write something down. Yeah, me. She wouldn't even let me talk off the top of my head. All right. They always say never date someone that works for you, as it only spells trouble. You don't think so? Ask the governor in New York or South Carolina. You got that trouble thing? Well, 22 years ago I hired Kris, and it took me only 8 months to break the rule. Fortunately, 20 years ago she said yes when I asked her a question. And I haven't regretted it since, and I haven't gotten myself into trouble, which is a good thing. I think it's my turn to set the timetable back a little bit and talk about some of the development she's had over the years. Like when we got back from our honeymoon, the first challenge she faced in her wonderful short life was the fact being in our what do you want to say, ignorance, whatever. We came to the conclusion, my office manager at that time filed her nails, and that was it. Didn't do any work at all. And so we faced a 5-figure deficit in terms of insurance that was not billed. From a dentist standpoint, you got to realize it hurts my checkbook big time. So Kris jumped right in. She identified all the deficiencies, she filled out the forms, and she righted the financial ship. All in one very long weekend. Needless to say, the office manager was deemed incapable, and Kris got the job. Not because she was sleeping with the boss. No, it didn't help. Okay, we were building this practice, but I always had this bug to volunteer. And one project with the Dental Society that I volunteered with was Christina's Smile, and that was run in conjunction at that time the First of America Classic. Go back a few years on that one. In '96, we approached the JC Foundation for a grant, and it was approved. And in that meeting over at Bridgewater Place, I kind of sat there and I thought, well, you know, the Jaycees are giving me money, maybe I ought to give something back. So I decided to join. Kris figured out she didn't want to spend one Thursday a month cooking for herself while I was out at a JC meeting. So she joined too. Now look what the chapter got, you know, part of that deal. Yes. Andrea talked about the fun times in the chapter, but I saw her grow as a leader. She made my business extremely successful. From her first project at Chocolate Lovers Festival to her presidency and beyond, her attention to detail, the ability to do what was right, was outstanding. She assumed the reins of a chapter that faced another 5-figure deficit. She didn't panic. She worked with individuals such as Andrea, President John, Melissa, Jed out there was on her board too. And she righted another financial ship. She's a big problem solver, I guess. She ended her presidency with a 5-figure balance in the checkbook. She accomplished what a good leader must, that being able to say yes when asked, did I leave this organization in better shape than when I arrived? But she didn't stop from there. Whether it was day of event, a tournament commitment, or chairing a major project, Kris jumped in, lending her expertise, and provided a good example for others to follow. Whether it be staff or patients, Kris is always the first one to be asked a question that needed the answer. She hates it. She hates it. Drives her crazy sometimes, but I think it shows the respect everybody has for her ability. Like I said, I'm where I'm at professionally due to her colossal effort. I feel the chapter got stronger through the energies that she put in when the chapter faced changes that needed to be made. One thing that has never changed is her commitment, her moral character, and her burning desire to do the things the best way possible. The JC experience affirmed each one of those in her character and has made her a true friend, a wonderful wife, and I think an all-around great person. I'd like to please have you give it up for the 74th president of the Grand Rapids Jaycees and his 148th life member.